You may disagree, but up to me, it's a fact. It's paying running backs. It ain't no fun in that. Yeah, the sermon about to start, so I hope you know your stats. And if Kev get it wrong, then Rashad gon' have his back with the facts. Matter of fact, all we do is say wins. When wings, congregation say amen. Trades, debates, wins, losses, the latest news, but Prophet Kev speak, you got him saying hallelujah.
Welcome to Preach Kev Preach with Rashad. We are the Prophet Said, another episode, another sermon coming at you from Wildcard Sports here on Wildcard TV. Rashad, my bro, what's going on?
Shoot, man. You know how it is. Just another day in the office, man. Crazy Tuesday, bro. Like, it's been like some crazy weather lately, man. I don't know what's going on right now, but it's been crazy.
Hella rain.
We didn't give a shout out last week, but hopefully everybody that is a dad had a good Father's Day and all that good stuff too, man. Hopefully everybody's out here living safe and they had a chance to enjoy their pops.
I'm gonna say happy Father's Day, Rashad, man.
Oh, what you funny?
Not yet, huh? You got what's your time frame?
I don't put a time frame on that, boy. Your kids do not come with receipts, boy. It's something like that. I never put a time frame on that. You gotta just do that when you really feel like it's time.
That's funny. I got to spend time with my dad this past weekend, so that was good to catch up with him.
Yeah, same here.
So yeah, so shout out to all the dads, man, and we're gonna get into the show. Draft lottery, man, just announced. Just dropped. Detroit Pistons. Detroit, number 1 pick in the draft. Houston Rockets, number 2. The Cavs somehow always find a way to be in top 3 every time, and then Toronto Raptors always trash. And Toronto Raptors dropped up to the top 4, which is amazing for them because we know ain't nobody coming to Toronto. Might lose Kyle Lowry, so they're in a good spot to get them a guard to replace that. So, we'll probably get into the draft as the time goes on. But, the Warriors did get 2 picks. Magic got their 2 picks. So, in both in the lottery. So, that's pretty good. So, we'll see, how the draft will unfold when we get to it.
Yeah, just for the order for anybody who doesn't have it right in front of them. Pistons 1, Rockets 2, Cavs 3, Raptors 4. Magic 5, OKC Thunder at 6. The Warriors got pick 7 from the Timberwolves. The Magic have pick 8 from the Bulls. Kings 9, Pelicans 10, Hornets 11, Spurs 12, Pacers 13, and the Warriors 14.
Yeah, so, man, it's going to be a good one when that time's come. Hey, before we get too far, Rashad, you might want to go and lean up a little bit with the audio. That's all. We good.
Oh, I'm good. I want to knock the mic out.
All right, hey, let's go into the show, man. We'll talk about the draft a little later in the thing, but we want to go ahead and get into the show. We're going to start off with the 76ers, the 1 seed in the East, no longer in the playoffs. I really, I know. The big story is Ben Simmons. That's pretty much, he's getting all the, most of the blame. But before we get into Ben Simmons, I do want to point out that Tobias Harris had a game where he had less than 10 points. I want to point out Embiid going 0 for 12 in the second half and also missing the game-winning layup when he's 7 foot tall. Blowing an 18-point lead and blowing a 26-point lead. So I do want to bring those up before we get into the Ben Simmons point. Also, Sixers, I think, had one game where their bench showed up, and that was Maxey in one game. So I think it was game 6. So other than that, the bench didn't play good either. So I just want to point out all the other different flaws before we get into Ben Simmons. So what's your take from the Sixers Hawks series?
Everything else is irrelevant. This is a mainly Ben Simmons and Doc Rivers problem.
Okay.
Ben got to be aggressive. I mean, you can't be taking no shots in the fourth quarter. I mean, and even if you don't attempt any field goals, you still have to apply pressure to the defense in different ways. That's getting into the mid post. So, because if he's on the perimeter, they can sag off. He's not going to shoot. So you got to still try to get into the mid post, get some post ups, do some hard dribbles where you only got to do 1-2 steps like Giannis did in other series, and you're right there at the hole. I know that free throw line may be a little intimidating, a little scary to him. Like people have mental things that bother them, so the free throw line may be a little something that does give him anxiety or something he don't want to deal with. But for the most part, man, you got to stay aggressive on that offensive end in some capacity, because if you're not, the team basically playing 4-on-5. Like, you're not going to shoot from the perimeter. Teams are going to sag off because they don't really fear him unless he's in the dunker spot, posting up, or right there around the mid post. So he got to stay aggressive and at least apply pressure to the defense. And applying pressure don't always involve shooting. Like I said, just attempt to drive and get them in foul trouble, or just draw and kick. So just be aggressive is the main thing. And the second thing, I mean, I know last week we said we think Doc Rivers is debatably a top 10 coach all the time. It's just because after the first 7-8 is open season as far as who you want to pick right there. So Doc, and what we said last time when we brought it up, we didn't skate around it. He's been the captain of the ship on a couple of playoff collapses. I mean, for the Atlanta Hawks to come in to your arena and beat you 3 times, game 1, 5, and 7, you can't even defend home court. So what's the point of having a 1C? You can't even defend home court. That's the whole point of playing good the regular season, to get that top seed. Mm-hmm. So you got to look at that factor. There's a couple of times situationally and some stuff, Doc could have put guys in better position. You got to look at that. It's just a couple of things, man. You have to look at everything all the way around. Doc is a champion, but right now, man, that championship is from 2008. The last 13 years, you made the finals again in 2010 with Boston, but since you left the Boston job, no conference final with the Clippers. Ty Lue, first year with the Clippers, he's there, and now you're with Philly, and you just had a collapse, of not being able to. You lost 3 or 4 home games, and you just can't do that, man. So I just think Doc has to have his part in this too. Yeah, Tobias, there's a little bit of blame because he has to understand, like, all right, if Ben's not gonna be aggressive, you can't not show up too. I'm gonna give Embiid on pass just because dude's on a bad meniscus and he still gave it his all.
Yeah,
like he gave it his all the whole way through. So I'm not gonna knock Embiid because I don't think he's a problem. Dude's averaging like 30 plus and 14 rebounds. So he was doing this thing. He did what he had to do. And we all know it's hard for a big guy to try to be a closer. So you need a perimeter guy, and Tobias or Ben just can take you there. You got Ben passing up an open layup.
I'm about to say that's probably the only thing I don't like about what Ben did this postseason, because I feel like it probably was a mental thing. With the free throws and not wanting to get fouled and shooting the worst free throw percentage ever in the series and stuff like that. I think that was a big part. But I think now we need to realize like what Ben Simmons is, and whether he can break out of that what I think he is now. Then we'll find that out. But I still think the Sixers never really built the team the way it's supposed to be built. I believe that they needed somebody other than Ben Simmons who can be able to who's able to control the ball. And they had it 1 year, and that was Jimmy Butler. And arguably probably could have won a championship. They took the Raptors to Game 7 and won for Kawhi's shot. You never know what would have happened, but they haven't had the other playmaker that makes Ben a slasher, that makes Ben play off the ball, because like as you saw, like the Game 7 when he took him out of the game, and who's gonna make a play, and whether he need to be aggressive or not, which I think we all can agree that he needs to be a little. Nobody's saying you need to go take 20 shots, but the threat, and that's really.
And go ahead, bro.
Nah, go ahead. Just stand up a little bit. That thing is it's just static. Like I don't know what's going on today.
It's like how it sound now.
It's straight. It's the best it's gonna be. It's good. It's good now.
Yeah, it's just some of this stuff has started from like the front office too, man. Like they had some draft picks, the whole process thing, where we had Nerlens Noel, we had Okafor, and some other picks, and you basically didn't take advantage of everything you had, man. Like they were missing on so many picks. Like they could have really probably had a dope team.
Yo.
But at the time they had so many picks, and then some of the guys just haven't panned out. So, that plays a part too, front office and stuff like that.
They could have had, just thinking this lineup, Embiid, Tatum, Mikal Bridges, and Ben Simmons. That could have been 4. Like they could have drafted that. Like that's the point. Like it's a lot of things that they probably could have done better. But I still think that like when they had Jimmy, you had another guy who can make plays and facilitate for other people. And all they did was change JJ Redick into Seth Curry, which Seth Curry played out of his mind. Like he played great all series, and no take away from him, but you know,
he killed it.
If you had another playmaker alongside Ben, or had the option to take Ben out, because you know at the end of the day, we can cry about Tobias. Oh, you're not showing up in game 4, I think. Or you know Ben Simmons not being aggressive, or Embiid not doing this. But who else you gonna put in the game? And it's like you got. I mean, that's the way your team built.
It's the roster.
That's the roster. And you have to go with it. So like, you know, they say, well, Ben Simmons ain't take no shot in the second half. Well, it was like, well, we want him to, and what I'm gonna do? Put in Shake Milton. I mean, I guess I can, but what is he gonna give me? Ty Bull? He's not gonna score either. Like the roster really didn't pan out for them to even like consider the option to sit Ben, or and maybe Danny Green was the missing key. I don't know. Like I mean he was getting cooked early in the series, but you never know. That veteran presence wasn't there on the court, and you probably had the opportunity to take him out the game. Ben Simmons and have a Green, Curry, you know, at the 1 and 2. I don't know. It's just a lot of different things I guess could have gone different ways, but yeah, Ben Simmons, man. It's a lot that needs to happen. I hope he plays Australian basketball this year for the Olympics.
He's not.
He already said he's not because he need to.
He's not.
He need to play basketball. Like he need to play basketball, and he need to shoot all the shots. I know Patty Mills is the superstar of Australia, but he need to go. He need to do something. But I just think Ben Simmons is Dennis Rodman, like. And I think that's probably the best he's gonna be. Like, as far as like, okay, he's not Dennis Rodman to that fact, but as far as like, his value won't come from scoring. And I don't think. I mean, we can force him to try to score, but at the end of the day, I mean, the people say he don't work. He don't have the work ethics. That's what they say. So I mean, I can't. I'm not in the locker room, not seeing what he's doing at the facility. But if all he's gonna do is give me 10 assists, 8 rebounds, play great defense, first team all defense, and score 6-7 points. I mean, I guess.
But it's a thing, man. Like you can't make max money and give that production.
That's
like,
true too.
Tobias, him, and Embiid are eating up all your salary cap. Embiid is, you know, he's gonna get injured at some point. So I mean, you got to live with that on his max. Ben, he has room to grow his game, but is he and can he grow it? Is the thing. And then Tobias, he's making max money, but he's not even an all-star. So there's a ceiling to his game, too. So they got to figure everything out. Of course, not keeping Jimmy and those guys played a part in the roster turnover being what it is, too. But just with what you have now, Ben is still a young guy. And I know, you know, Philly fans are rough. But sometimes a change of scenery is good for Ben. But at the same time, if you do trade him, can you even get any good value back? Because your value was we could flip this guy for Harden. You couldn't even get a top MVP candidate like Harden now because Ben's value is just dropped.
Yeah.
So like, you know, people throwing out CJ McCollum. CJ's a non-all-star.
Like
that just shows you how your values change just in the midst of the same season. Because I mean, they could have had Harden, like they could have had some other things in play, and now he's on a max contract. I think you have to build a team around him. He needs to be like in a Mike D'Antoni-esque system where he can donate the ball like a Nash, like Harden, and you just got to get 4 shooters around and let him play his game. If he's not going to shoot the ball, that's going to be the best bet. But if he is going to work on his game some more and be a shooter, you still would need a coach who he connects with, where they won't kill his confidence. They can still motivate him and be, you know, allow him to still be coachable. But he's on his max contract. His contract is locked in until 2024, 2025 season. And he's making $30+ million every year. So wherever he goes, that's going to be a big part of your salary cap, right? So he's going to be one of your 2 or 3 highest paid players no matter where he goes.
I'm about to say so. It kind of seems like you're on the side that he probably needs to go, but where? I mean, I guess you know. I think the change of scenery. I think Philly just need to blow it up wherever
I always
that
been on the
means.
Embiid side. Like whenever somebody says we had to trade one or the other, who would you flip? I mean, I've always been keep Embiid, trade Ben, because as a big guard, the value what you would get back in assets has always been on you flip him, you would get more back. As you can see, like when it came up, hey, let's try to go get Harden or somebody else. But that value is there's value there, but going to go get a CJ won't be it. Like CJ just brings you offense. I mean, you need another top 10 to 15 type player to pair with Embiid and to keep Tobias as your third guy. So, unless the Wizards can say we're gonna try to give you Bradley Beal or maybe a Zach LaVine type guy, I don't know where you can go with this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you try to make different scenarios and try to make different trade values, and you just don't know what's the best case for Ben Simmons. Like you don't know what's the best case for Sixers or for the other team, and that's probably the only thing I guess will be very strange in this situation because like I mentioned to you, I was like, well, OKC, Kemba Walker, like Kemba Walker got traded to OKC, and we was like, he want to win. Like, does he really value staying in OKC? That's a potential. I said I think I told you like maybe a potential like 3-team trade would be like Kemba to Toronto and send sign and trade Lowry to back to Philly. I don't know. You probably got to come up with crazy scenarios that would help every team. But then again, you was like, well, maybe the agent won't sign off on that to go to OKC. So it's like,
no, Rich Paul is not gonna have Ben off in the OKC market. Like they gonna him and with that company he's with, like they're gonna take care of Ben. So like if it's a smaller market, I would eliminate that because like they just have somewhat. Yeah, he's locked into a contract and there's no trade clause stuff like that. But just agent wise, there's no way he's going to a small market. Like so. I don't know if he can. The LA teams probably won't work because of what's already going on with the LA teams. But you start thinking about like just the big markets, maybe the Miamis, maybe the Chicagos, maybe a New York. But Ben's gonna be in a big market. Just the people he's aligned with business wise, he's gonna be in a big market.
I'm about to say I would say Julius Randle get a lot of touches. I was just thinking like that probably wouldn't be too bad, just because of the defensive system and Knicks want a starting point guard, but I think they want a point guard who could. They've been linked to like Lowry and like Schroeder, so I guess they want more of a. It seems like they want a scoring guard. So who knows? But yeah, so it's a lot of places where he could go. But like I said, it got to be a both sides. It got to be both sides got to try to see if they can win the deal, and I just don't know. So maybe have them running back again. But I feel like Philly been running the same race year in and year out, and they even with Daryl Morey there, I don't understand like why this team doesn't have the shooters that we're talking about, because like you need shooters, but I think around Ben Simmons you need scorers. You don't need just a guy who just stand in the corner. You need a guy who also go get the ball and go get his own basket too. Like just to have that option. I know they got it in Tobias from a forward standpoint, but I think you need it in the backcourt as well. And I think once they realize like Seth to come off screens and stuff like that, that's fine and dandy. But I mean, is he really gonna be the ISO scorer that his brother is?
But I mean, just cap situation wise, Philly's just stuck. Because you already got Ben, Tobias, and Embiid locked in, and then you took on Danny's money from the trade with him, so that was like $15 million, and George Hill was making like $10 million because I think the Bucks gave him stupid money. They always doing stupid stuff. So I mean, you really didn't have any room to work around to get anybody. I think Curry only makes like $8 million. So just roster like Daryl just took the job recently. So like just roster wise. And being able to move stuff with the cap, he just didn't have any room to move anything.
Yeah, I think does Danny Green come off the books this year?
Yeah, Green contract is about to end. I think just off the big names, just him and Dwight and Mike Scott. I think that's the only money that comes off the books. I think everybody else is locked in for the next year or two, except for George Hill. I think his deal next year is non-guaranteed.
All right, so we'll see what Philly going to do. It's going to be a long off season. They talk about him changing hands and getting back to the thing, but like we've seen videos of Ben Simmons shooting in warm ups and shooting in like summer leagues and shit, and he don't do it in the game. So we'll see if he ever translate into the game, because that's what they're going to need to win a championship. I mean, I know Doc Rivers getting flat for another disappointing defeat, but I think he did more good for Philly than bad this year. So we'll see with another year under their belt if they keep the team together. Definitely gonna need a better roster. Like, you're gonna need some bench players, some veterans, something. You gotta get something over there to help them learn how to win. Outside of Danny Green, you didn't really have no real veterans. I mean, Dwight Howard been through the struggles, but he don't really play because he's the backup to Embiid, and Embiid's playing 40 minutes. So how much you gonna play? So, anything else you want me to get off before we go to the next topic?
No, man. Just looking at Daryl Moore's history, he's going to be in that trade market, and for sure. I mean, I think for sure one we can lock in is going to be traded from their top 3 highest paid players, and depending upon what you can get money wise or like the teams involved, Daryl Moore may try to deal 2 of the 3.
He'll clean house if he has to.
Yeah, like, I mean, we saw him make moves multiple times. Like, they brought in Dwight Howard. Dwight was out of there. They brought in Chris Paul. They brought in Russ. I mean, they were changing that team like every year or two just because they had the money to swap it out. So Daryl's a deal maker, man. He'll definitely shake it up if he feels like it needs to be shaken up. So I think Philly may be one of the 2 or 3 most interesting teams this offseason.
Yeah, they got a lot of questions to solve. Another team that got some questions to solve, and probably not at the top, is the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, you got Steve Nash at the coaching position. You got Kevin Durant. You got Jalen Harden. You got Kyrie Irving. So we pretty much know the core will be back next season. They did lose to the Bucks in 7. Went to overtime. Kevin Durant was a size 16 shoe away from winning the game and going to the next round and putting on another dominant performance. But they go home. Giannis steps up. Chris Middleton steps up late. Actually, Drew Holiday, who was sorry as hell all game, stepped up late, hitting a couple shots late. So the Nets go home. And I guess the only really question I want to ask you, like, as far as I want your take on, is like, what is next? I know health. Damn, this audio was not playing with me today, boy. It just got terrible feedback for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, what is the Nets like? Obviously, the health played a big role this year. But like, what was like? I mean, outside of that, what else do the Nets need to do to be able to host a trophy next year?
I mean, it was Steve Nash's first year. I'm hoping he just kind of does some stuff on, like, rotation wise, man. Because, all right, they basically killed the Bucks the first 2 games. They were healthy, and then I thought game 3 is where the series got away, because that was a low scoring game, but guys just didn't shoot the ball the best. And then the game was there to be had, and I feel like if you just go ahead and win that game, you would just crush the Bucks' spirit because they're down 3-0. Nobody comes back from down 3-0. And it was a winnable game. Then, of course, we know what happens from there. Game 4, I mean, they didn't even play halfway through it. Kyrie's ankle is done. Now you're in game 5. You got to run the KD the whole game. Harden's out there not giving you nothing. So now you're up 3-2. When he said it at the time, I agreed with him. Like Reggie said, hey, rest these dudes game 6, push all your chips in game 7. I like that idea because it's a 7-2 game regular season. KD only played half the season because of various stuff, rest, recovery, and all that kind of stuff. So to log 48 minutes, put up an all-time game, and then have to do that again in a 1 day off and come right back. He played almost the whole game again, did numbers, but they lost game 6, and then now you ask me to do the same thing again, take a day off, and run it back. I got to still carry the team again. Joe Harris ain't giving me crap. Bruce Brown only can score from inside. Harden still ain't got any better. I thought I was with Reggie after that emotional Game 5 win. You should have just let those guys just say, "Hey, look, we're gonna have Game 7 at our crib. We're gonna the NBA might not like this, but we're gonna push our chips into Game 7. The series ain't over in Game 6; it's over Game 7. So, and I think that would have probably helped the role players and get more confidence again too, because they would have had a chance to take all the shots in Game 6.
So would you as just set KD and Harden, or just those two, or you just set KD?
I would have sat both of them. Like coming off that Game 5, Harden, he didn't give me anything. So like I would have sat both of them and just took it off for Game 7 because KD basically ran out of gas Game 7.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
did everything he could do.
Yeah, I mean, he did it all. But it's just so hard to do because you, as a competitor, you just want to go ahead and close it out if you can. And I mean, they did have a shot to close it out in 6. It just they got away from them. But I mean, for the Bucks part, they didn't really put the gas pedal on the Brooklyn Nets as they should have. Playing around like because what game was it? No, so Game 1 and Game 2 got out of control. So when they won Game 3, they probably should have tried to take because they was down 3-1.
They were down. It was 2-0, tied up 2-2. Yeah.
So that game five, I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant went crazy, but Bucks was in control of that game, and they were supposed to win 5 and win 6 and get out of here. But because Kevin Durant, like you said, that emotional roller coaster game, and that's probably one of the best games I ever seen from any player. Like one of the best, like great game. 50,
yeah, that's in my top 5 of game I ever watched.
Yeah, and he was man. Oh my God. But he played outstanding. Like I know everybody was asking like this is a legacy game, blah blah. He showed up Game 5. Oh no, what are you gonna do Game 6? He showed up Game 6. Oh, what are you gonna do Game 7? And he showed up at Game 7. And like I said, when you playing defense on Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, both Drew Holiday got scored on, but Middleton, Kevin Durant missed the last shot in overtime. It's like that's all you hoping to do is miss. Like that's all. That's really all you can do. I mean, hope and he like you said he ran out of gas, but the Nets, man.
And then Steve Nash didn't bail him out. Like I'm 50-50 on that last possession because the whole point, all right, Bucks miss, you're in transition. And I mean, just from, I understand that the whole point is in transition, let's see what mismatch we can draw. Mm-hmm. So it was like 15 seconds. So KD brings it down, and now he's on Drew Holiday's on him. So you kind of got what you want. You got a smaller defender. He can see over. I thought KD could have tried to blow past him, but when you look at possession again, he gave Harden the ball. Harden gave it right back. So clearly you can tell Harden don't want nothing to do with this. So now KD gets it back, and he just standing there because he don't have anything. I thought at that point Nash should have called timeout. It would have been about 8.1 left. Like, you see, they haven't even got moving yet. Bail him out and call a timeout. Now, the other 50% side of that is a 50-50 way. All right, we're going to call the last timeout, but now the last possession, they're going to put Giannis on him. So it's going to be a tougher basket. So I see why it went both ways. Like, you want to play it, just let it play out because now y'all can set a defense. You can load up one side of the court. You're going to put Giannis on him. Y'all going to run a double at him. And he probably won't even get a shot off, and nobody else can get nothing else. So I can see why
Joe Harris.
I can see why Steve let it play it out the way it did. But I was also thinking, like, man, you already got one more shot at it. Just call timeout, give him that 30-second breather to get his legs, and at least know what's coming. But I mean, you can say a lot of things. You can say KD could have tried to drive because the right side of the court was wide open. Maybe 2 dribbles. Stop, hit that little mid-range, and live with that shot. So, but I just think he didn't want to try to do all of that because time was running down. He probably didn't really have the legs to get one more shot off, and he probably just felt like I'm gonna just go for a dagger right here and
take
it. It was air ball because I mean he just didn't have any legs. He was done.
Tied. Yeah. I mean, he played a lot of minutes.
He didn't come out the game again.
People want to get mad at him like, oh, he also he was clutch. He 0 for whatever in overtime. Man, relax. Like what?
Like people are ridiculous, man. It only took. I was mad at the Nets in overtime because overtime everybody's tired. It's only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It only took 4 points to win, and the Nets. It was like around like 3 minutes left in overtime. They had 4 possessions, like offensive rebounds and everything. Joe Harris missed. I think Bruce Brown missed. I think Blake and somebody else, like they missed 4 shots, and then the Bucks got the rebound. But those 4 possessions where you could have got 2 more points, that was basically one overtime for you. But because you let them hang around,
I was like, the Bucks ain't doing
nothing. Giannis, yeah, like in overtime, when overtime, man, you don't need like 6 points. 4 to 8 points can win you an overtime game. So Bruce Brown got the first bucket. Everybody went cold. It put pressure on the Bucks. But that next possession where they had it was like 4 shots in a row, and they didn't make any one of them. And then probably like 2 possessions after that, Giannis got his bucket. And then a little bit after that, Middleton got his, and that put all the pressure back on KD to go get a bucket, and they just couldn't get one. It was time's running out. Guys were tired. I mean, Lopez spared them on his stupid mistake.
Yo, what was he doing, bro? What was Lopez doing? I just still don't get that part. This man was held the ball. I thought he ran to the corner to shoot. he held.
Man. Lopez, like, man.
Lopez had that block though. That block was that.
Yeah,
block
that was good.
That was like LeBron-esque block from the game in the finals, but he definitely saved it because that probably was a bug of Kevin Durant right there. Chris Middleton, one of the best mid-range shooters in the game, did a turn around and put him up. So it was a great game 7. Like however you want to slice it, like James Harden, it took a minute for him to get going. He got a lot of free throws this game versus the other games.
He never got going.
He got to the free throw line, which he didn't do the first because he was scared to get fouled, so whatever. But
and like, bro, some of the game is his fault too. Like in the third quarter, they had a chance to really blow it open. Like the Nets had like 2 chances. Well, really, I say 4, but the 2 key chances they had to really blow it open. Middleton was shooting terrible before the half. So was Drew. You were only up 6 to 8 points at the half. You should be up 14-15 with everybody shooting terrible, but they were letting the role players get off. And then they had another spot in the third quarter. Like the Bucks were in the penalty. Harden shot like 3 ridiculous threes, and the Bucks went and scored off of all of that, and then went into the fourth with them. It's a close game. Like, man, you can't have a team down 6 to 8. And then you go shoot 3 stupid threes, bailing the defense out, and you could push the lead up, keep pressure on them, and they went and scored off of all that stupid stuff and made it and kept it into the game. So, I mean, I associate more to blame. Of course, you got to say injury and stuff like that, but Harden just having terrible game management, man. That's my guy. Like, I'll stick up with Harden, but man, there were so many possessions where like, dog, they are in the bonus. Why are you shooting a 3? Like, just go to the basket, try to draw a foul. Even if you don't draw a foul, at least put the pressure on where somebody got to come to you and y'all can kick it out. Maybe get a good shot. Maybe that person draws a foul. But to shoot freaking 3 stupid step back threes or just ill-advised threes when you got a chance to really push the lead up to go into the fourth, that's just stupid.
Man, it's a well, I'm happy that Nets lost the game. Because I do want Bucks to have that one run. I still don't think Coach Bud know what he really doing. But I mean, we did say this. We was like the winner of the Nets and Bucks probably gonna win the finals. Do you still think like this Hawks and Bucks series that we're gonna get into next? What are the chances that the Hawks mess around and Ice Trey go to the finals, man?
I dig Trae Young a lot, but this may be a sweep or at least a gentleman's sweep, 4 or 5. Like they don't have they don't have anybody that can slow down Giannis or Middleton. Bogdanovich I mean, you're gonna put John Collins. Yeah, you're gonna put John Collins and Capella on them, but for the most part, DeAndre Hunter's getting knee surgery. Bogdanovich, his knees are starting to ache him a little bit, so he may not be available at 100% capacity. Gallinari has slow feet, so you're looking at. I mean, I just think they're gonna be down 2-0 when they come to Atlanta. I just think they may get one because they can shoot the ball great.
I'm about to say that's the reason Bucks struggle against 3-point shooters. So that's what Hawks will stay in games. But I think the factor is Brook Lopez going to, like, I don't know if you noticed in that Nets series, like I think game 1 he was most of like in the block. Like he was down low. Then all of a sudden he was outside the rest of the series. And if he's outside the rest of the series, Capella can't leave. So that opens up more opportunities for Giannis to get in there. So yeah, I can agree with that too. So that's gonna be what we're gonna see in these series. And I mean, I don't know, man. It's like the Hawks took care of business in the Knicks. I mean, they was in every game against the Sixers, but to the same point, had to play a lot of comeback ball. And do the Bucks let that happen? And I'm gonna tell you the only difference between the Sixers and the Bucks is Drew and Chris. They gonna keep shooting. They gonna be aggressive no matter what. They'll go 2 for 20. They don't give a damn. So if the reason why Sixers let comebacks happen is because one of your key players ain't doing nothing as far as they're not putting no shots up. Well, man, we ain't worry about from the Bucks. So their big three, they gonna shoot. That's what they're gonna do. I'm interested to see how deep the Bucks go in their bench though, because their bench didn't really play a lot. I think outside of Connaughton, Forbes a little bit, like that's really all you had. Come in. Bobby Porter stopped playing. They stopped playing him in games. And you don't really have that much either. So do the Hawks have the advantage of a little deeper bench with Lou Will and you got Gallo coming off the bench. I guess that's really it too. They don't have that much deep depth anyway either. So that's the crazy part. How like all these benches really shortening like 7 guys. Like, but after a grueling matchup that the Bucks had with the Nets, you got to see that Coach Bud probably gonna throw some guys in there just for rest purposes.
Like Okongwu and some other guys will get some minutes off the bench. Like they were still active in the previous series. But this is gonna be a 4 or 5 game series, man. Like Drew, Middleton, PJ, all those guys, they're gonna be playing these guys so rough and tough, man. It's gonna be a 4 or 5 game series. Like I'm honestly less interested in the playoffs now. Like it's really not any fun anymore because like people just keep getting hurt. Like it's really not even fun because normally you feel like the best team will win, but now it's like the healthiest team is gonna win. And normally health and best kind of coincide.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
But not to this extent where like bro, like these are like the best players. Like Kawhi is out. Chris Paul is in COVID protocol. So like that changes both teams' whole dynamic. Or like even if the Nets would have got out the first round, I mean not the first round, the second round, it's still KD or bust. Like Harden laboring around, maybe Kyrie would have came back. I mean, who knows? So like you really don't know who should be the best team to come out. Like Kawhi's knee, probably a knee strain, possible ACL. I mean, that stuff gets looked at in like week increments, like 2 to 4 weeks. In 2 to 4 weeks, series gonna be over. Your best player can't even play against the Suns. Mm-hmm. So like this stuff like that, where like this could change who would make the finals. It's kind of like less exciting. Like the Hawks' best defender is on getting knee surgery. Like the Bucks, like they got everybody still standing, so it ain't even like to me it ain't really that exciting anymore. Because like I feel like we already know we're gonna win the title now.
Now the only thing I would say, the only thing I would say against that is it was damn near chalk though. Like we all know Clippers tanked to get to the 4 seed. Everybody know that. Like they lost to the Rockets and Rockets and Thunder in the end of the season, where they could have been a 3 seed and played the Suns in the second round. They chose to play the Jazz because, I mean, for the most part, everybody thought Jazz was pretenders. After the 2-0 start, he's out of question a little bit, but then the Clippers won 4 in a row. So it's like Clippers probably are a better team than the Jazz as far as a better, just more equipped to handle different situations. So that's kind of chalk to me. Suns was a 2 seed, probably chalk. We knew the Bucks and Nets could get flip-flop. That's probably chalk. And then the only one you really happened was the Hawks and the Sixers one. Like, if the Sixers win Game 7, do you still feel the same way? Just because it probably would have been it would have been Sixers versus Bucks or Nets. We know going into the play, we all knew that, and then it was going to be Suns or Lakers, I think, versus the Clippers. Like, I know the injuries are a bad part, but I feel like we still got almost everything we wanted. I mean, I know we probably wanted a Clipper matchup or Nets versus Lakers or whatever. But for at least for the most part, we probably knew we knew at least 6 of the 14, like the 6 teams that should be in the Final Four, like the Lakers, Suns, Clippers. Then you had Sixers, Bucks, and Nets, and we got 3 of them. So it's not. But I mean, I get what you're saying. But like, do Clippers really have a real chance to win the championship without Kawhi? No, I don't think so. So yeah.
Like, I don't think it's been chalk though, because like if you just start from the beginning, all right, we knew AD and LeBron both coming in kind of banged up, but for the most part, they were still the betting favorite to win the series, and of course that changed everything. So Suns could not be here at all. So I think that changed, So I don't think it was chalk. Dallas and Clippers, to me, that was a toss up. I mean, I like Clippers because of the wings. But they kind of Mavs just blew the series. Like they could have easily beat the Clippers. They were up. They were killing them for the most part. But that's where coaching played this part. Like Ty Lue made so many adjustments and got them out of there. And same with the Jazz. Like the Jazz had them down 2-0, but Quinn Snyder just would not pull Gobert. Like Jazz could easily be in the West Finals. Then of course Mitchell dealt with his ankle stuff. Conley only played 1 game, so that plays a part too. So I don't think it's been chalk at all. Like even like Blazers Nuggets for the toss up, I thought Blazers could beat Nuggets because they missing they guard and Murray. Blazers couldn't get the job done. Now Suns sweep them. So I don't think it's been chalk at all. It just kind of been the better the better coach teams or the healthier team has won.
I see your point. I'm just saying, like going into the playoffs, like it's the reason it's the reason why Clippers tanked. Like I think they did that to avoid Suns and Lakers. Like regardless,
I think they did to avoid Lakers. Like I don't think they fear Suns. It was to avoid Lakers because they didn't want to see LeBron and AD early. I don't think they fear the Suns.
I won't say fear them, but matchup wise, they I don't know. The Devin Book there's a Devin Booker killer. Like he kills the Clippers. I think that's what it is. But yes, I mean I get what you're saying. It just outside of the Hawks coming out of nowhere and win the series. Nobody really expected that. But if the Sixers and Bucks got there, that's a potential match that we thought was going to happen. And I'm pretty sure like if you had like the rank where you thought the conference finals was going to be, I'm pretty sure the Clippers, Suns, and the Sixers, Bucks ranked pretty high. Nobody really expected the Hawks to be there, but Hawks are here. So in the West, so you say Sixers, you said the Bucks gonna knock off the Hawks pretty easy. So in the West, we got Clippers and Suns. They already had game 1, game 2 as going on as we record now. So come Thursday, either Suns will be up 2-0, Clippers tied up 1-1. How much? So who you think is missed more, Kawhi or Chris Paul? Because
definitely Kawhi.
But do you think he make a difference on? Well, I can say make a difference because he does make a difference, but I guess that's not how I want to word it. I want to say like, do he slow Devin Booker down? Because I mean, we've seen the Clippers. They like to switch everything. And in game 2 they started Zubac at center because Ayton was dominating. And all Devin Booker did, that pick and roll action was killing him. And if I don't know if Clippers have an answer for it with or without Kawhi. And I think whether it's Chris Paul there or not, or Devin Booker running the show, they probably can kill that action every single play, and the Clippers probably struggle to defend it. Now, DeMarcus Morris got banged up, but he came back for game 2. But it's like where do the Clippers make the adjustment on defense with Ty Lue, which he, like you said, the best coach team been making, get this far. He made adjustments round 1 and round 2. So he got round 3. How is he going to defend the pick and roll? How is he going to make sure that Devin Booker can stop? Because you can't let my boy get a 40-point triple dub in the first career conference finals.
I mean, he'll make an adjustment. I mean, some of that's going to be, they saw the same thing with Luka. He was getting those crazy games like that. And some of that's just a great player. A great player is going to get off. Like Mitchell had some crazy games. So some of that you got to say, all right, he's a great player. He's going to get off. We want to just make him work harder for it. Yeah. So now once you make this guy work harder for it, that is going to start taking shots or confidence from other guys because you making him work harder for it. This role player in the corners getting that shot a little bit later, so now they got to rush a shot up, or they may not be able to bobble the pass, something like that. So the main thing is making the great players work hard for it and keeping the role players out of rhythm. So, Kawhi is just a bigger body to throw at D-Book. Batum, Morris, Paul George, Reggie Jackson. Like, you got bodies to throw at him. But, I think you just need Kawhi because he's just another calming presence on the floor. A great defender. And he can get his shot whenever he wants. Like, Kawhi is way more. Paul George been playing some great ball lately, but Kawhi is just another little notch up from Paul George. He's a very efficient 38 boards and 4 assists guy. So I think you're missing that more than Chris Paul slow the pace down because like what the Suns do, they can do it with Campaign, with D-Book, with Chris Paul. No matter who's controlling the ball, they can still run that same style versus the Clippers. You're missing an elite defender who can make it hard on somebody and get you another 30 points efficient. Like without that, they were counting on Reggie and Morris and them to keep trying to get you 20-something points.
Well, Reggie gonna go off this whole series with Chris Paul in there. Kind of saying how we talk about Kawhi defense. Chris Paul ain't. He maybe let that happen, but I don't know. Reggie Jackson, he done tapped into some Monstar bag. I don't know who he think he is, but that boy been balling the last few weeks, especially in that Jazz series. So, the way I'm looking at it, if Kawhi don't come back, which I don't think he will, it's probably gonna be Suns versus Bucks, and that's crazy to ever say it for a finals, but I like it just because I get to cheer for two guys. You know what I'm saying? I get to cheer for guys I want to root for. So. Which I ain't got nothing against Paul George, but if Kawhi not there, I don't want, that's all I care about is Kawhi on the Clippers. On the Hawks, I could care less. So, the Bucks probably win easy. I think the Suns go up 3-1 in this series. And that's even Chris Paul don't come back. I just don't know how well you can rely on Reggie Jackson for a whole series. He's been balling out, like I just said, but and when is Paul George going to turn into has he turned the corner? That's something that I want to see.
I don't think either series goes past 5 games. I don't think Kawhi's gonna play a minute. Like if he has a knee bruise, knee strain, that stuff takes 2 to 4 weeks to feel better from stuff like that. I don't think Kawhi plays a minute this series. Like he's not even, rightfully so, he's not even traveling with the team just because he needs to be, getting recovery and everything. But I don't think Kawhi plays a minute. If he does try to play, it'll be in game 4 probably when they down kind of bad. But I don't see Kawhi taking any minutes this series. Suns will get him in 5 because Chris Paul gonna come back at some point, and I think that'll be what pushes Suns over the top in 5. Trae Young's good. They're gonna shoot the ball a great one game and get one, but both things go 5. Get the final started and get these guys to the Olympics. Like. I want to see a black coach win, but I don't think any black coach going to win this year. We got 3 or 4 in the finals, so I'm not rooting for one team because they don't have a black coach, obviously. So I want to see a black coach win, but I don't think so. We already saw the finals, so in my mind, basketball season's already over. We already saw the finals.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll be back next week. Probably what Rashad's saying. We probably already going to have a pretty much a winner going into the finals. The Olympics, man, we'll probably get to more of that once we get more into. I think Kevin Love joined and
got to start to commit. So got to start to commit.
So we'll see the team.
Katie's going, and
Harden going too, man.
I'm mad at Harden going. Like, bro, why are you going when you got a freaking hamstring strain? Like, they're gonna start in like a couple of weeks. What are you doing?
Hey, you never know, man. You never know when's your last time to get that gold medal, man. He got put on for his country. I guess I don't know. I'm just making sense. He got play that much. I guess you saying like don't hold it for somebody else's spot, but who else you gonna put in there? I feel like Trae Young had an opportunity.
He might still go.
Because I know everybody say committed, so they're just committed to going to camp, not the roster. Because not the final.
It's kind of the same thing. It's like once you commit to go to the camp, it's like, all right, let's see who we want to build a roster with.
But I'm saying like you committed, don't mean you're on the team. Because Trae Young need to be out there. Like, and I want to say he got passed over last time. in the FIBA thing. I mean, I think he's on the finalist this time, but last time he got passed over for like Derek White. So,
like, I mean, to me, one of the best things that come out of these playoffs is Trace. I'm about to say Trey Songz. Word to Tremaine. Word to Trigger. Back home, boy. But shoot, like Trae Young has changed his whole perception of him as a player. Like, first off, shout out to that draft class. Ayton, Luka, and Trey are all killing it. They are, they are some of the
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, like they are on, a rise right now, and I think it's dope to see those guys on the rise. Hopefully Bagley can get there, but these three are on the rise right now. But yeah, Trey's changed his whole perception from being a get stats bad team guy to making the finals, leading his team, hitting some clutch shots and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. I want to keep that up going into next season, because if you're saying they already done, they already done. But hey, we'll be back next week with a good show for y'all, man. Thank y'all for tapping in with us.
We're gonna fine tune that audio too.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on today, y'all. It just one of them days, man. One of them weeks where you start off bad, but you end good. So the audio, I think, pretty much cleared up for the rest of the show. So preach with Rashad, man. We out.